Breaking news just in. Sergeant Hardy from Atlanta Fire Rescue is retired. What's good, Cleve? What's good?
What's going on? What's going on?
Nothing much, man. So before we begin today, I just want to say tomorrow is the official day that I am retired from Atlanta Fire Rescue Fire Department. And yeah. So I want to thank the guys there. So let me first by saying I want to thank Captain Smith, thank Captain Polite for putting together that dinner. I appreciate it. I also want to thank Vince Marcus. I want to thank him for supporting us. He always inquiring about the show and stuff like that. So I appreciate you for that. I also appreciate Donnell, Eli, Triple C, Rick. And I also want to appreciate everybody that I've worked with and have a great relationship with. It's too many names to say all at one time. I appreciate you. And for the guys that are going to be expats in different countries, let's keep our promise. All right, go ahead, brother. What you got?
All right, first of all, I want to start off by saying congratulations.
Thank you.
I watch you, start your journey. And I know it was, kind of, points where you like, man, I can't take this. This is gonna be a long time before I can retire. You was counting down the days, the hours, the seconds, the minutes.
Yeah, it was
And
crazy.
now we are finally here. And today's show, I just wanted to just go down because retirement, like nowadays, people don't retire from jobs anymore.
Right.
People they give it a job for like 5, 6, 7 years, and they quit and they leaving. But not only did you retire from a job, but you retired from a career that was, where you put your life on the line. And I definitely appreciate, your services because you stepped away from your family to make sure other people's families, were safe and protected and and all that. So during that time, I want to, just ask you some questions on, your journey and everything.
Go ahead, brother. What you got?
First of all, I start off by asking you, we're gonna start at the beginning. Where were you born?
I was born in Atlanta, Georgia, on the west side of Atlanta, in the projects called Perry Homes.
Okay, so born in what year was that? That's
73.
73. 73.
I'm retired at 48 years old.
And which is a blessing. So at 73, how many siblings do you have?
I have from my mother, I have 2 brothers and 1 sister. From my dad, I have 4 brothers and 1 sister.
Okay, and you say you was born in, and so how was it growing up in Perry Homes?
Well,
I say in the 70s. How was it growing? Like,
I didn't know that. I didn't realize that we were poor. Let me say that.
Most people did. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was a happy kid, a loving kid, easy to get along with, but I didn't know the that we was living in poverty. I had no idea what poverty was. And yeah, so and then once when go ahead.
No,
What'd you say?
yeah.
No, I
No.
was
You were
saying,
saying you didn't realize y'all was poor.
yeah, we didn't. I didn't realize we were poor. I mean, we had food and stuff, and at that time, my father was living. He was in my life before he was murdered. So my dad was murdered not far away from where we live, like right up the street, literally up the street.
And
So
how old were you when you lost your father?
I was 6 years old.
6. Okay. So from that elementary school, what elementary school did you go to?
I went to CM Picks. CM Picks.
Okay, and that's on the west side of Atlanta.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Then from there, you went to high school. What high school did you go to?
I went to Archer, which is they right beside each other. If you go up Perry Boulevard, you'll see CM Pitts. Well, it used to be CM Pitts. And right beside it, the only thing divided was a fence, and then you had another building, which was the high school.
So growing up back in those days in the 70s, growing up in one of the well-known projects in Atlanta,
Mhm.
what what activities were you involved in? Did they have any activities, programs, anything? What was what was y'all doing back then?
Um, well, in my early years, we just invented our own activities inside the hood. So for instance, whatever sports was going on at that particular time, that's what sport we played. So right now, let's say it's football season, so we'll be outside playing football. But we did have a recreation center. We had a recreation center, and that's where which was more organized sports. So you would go there if you're looking for your organized sports.
You play sports?
Yes, I played.
Yeah.
I played football. Um, I played football. I played baseball, and I was not good at basketball at all.
I
I'm
can
true, and I'm not good at basketball.
I can agree. I can agree to that. But I will say this: you was competitive,
Yes,
and you played D.
I played deep.
You
Yeah,
put that D on. You put that D on.
yeah. I can play. My defense is good. My defense is better than my offense, but I'm not an offensive player. That's not my game.
Yeah, because I remember you
Yeah,
went out for a dunk.
yeah. But let me say this too, though, and I know the reason why I'm not a decent player. A decent basketball player is because my brother, my second oldest brother, he was a basketball star. So I automatically knew that I did not want to be. I want to have my own identity. I always the type of person wanted my own identity. I did not want to be in his shadow. I wanted to be my own man. So that's what made me, kind of really not, you're gonna play it because if it's basketball season, again, you just follow the season and the
Yeah.
project when we were growing up. But that just wasn't my thing. Wasn't my cup of
Yeah,
tea.
and your brother, he was definitely known for
Basketball.
he was known for basketball. I mean
He's a
that's
basketball star. Yeah.
yeah. So you played football, played baseball, and you played baseball in high school.
Yeah, yes, played baseball in high school. So let me explain my football career for anybody that's watching. I played recreation football, and I'm like super skinny, and they put me on the offensive line. So I'm really not fit for that either. But he got me blocking. That's what he got me doing. So when I got to, but I still played. I mean, I played a couple of years in recreation football. But again, I wasn't like stud or anything like that. So when we got to eighth grade, high school started for us in eighth grade. So I did participate in eighth grade football, and then that was my last time participating. So I retired from football in eighth grade.
Hey, listen, so many people retired and went to other sports. Which knowing you, from me knowing you, you would have been a hell of a quarterback. Hell
Yeah.
of a quarterback. You would have been a hell of a probably receiver as well.
Yeah, I think I developed my arm just playing. I remember watching the Tom Seaver story, and we used to play playing baseball every day. Sorry, that's my phone. But we played baseball like every single day. And I told myself that I wanted to, because my first season, I rode the bench, and I knew that I was better than some of those guys, but they had popularity. So
Yeah.
that was the edge that I had. I will always carry with me. So I made sure that once we got out of recreation, I told myself, when we have a different coach. He don't know us from a can of paint. Now we on level playing field. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you had an equal opportunity.
Exactly. And I
So,
started
so
from 8th grade all the way to 12th grade. And we started playing varsity, and I think we started playing varsity in like 10th grade, 9th, 10th grade. We playing baseball varsity.
okay. So
Mhm.
then you move from Perry Homes, then you move to where me and you met. And how was that? How was that going from Perry Homes, one side of the Atlanta to the other side of Atlanta? How was
Yeah.
that?
Well, that's a good question. It was a transition for me, but I was excited because at this time when we were moving, it was right at the peak of the crack epidemic happened. It was in motion. It was in
Yeah.
motion because I was 15. I want to say it probably hit when I was 13. No, it's probably hit when I was 12. So 3 years later, we moved out the projects. Excuse me. So yeah, so it was a transition. I was happy because, for example, as a 15-year-old, I wasn't accustomed to central heating and air. In the projects, we only had one large heater, stood about 6 feet maybe, and that was the heater for your entire house. So, and when it got very cold, you would cut the heater on. You had to cut the oven on as well. So when my mother got this apartment in Pepper Mill, and she came back and told us it had a wall-to-wall carpet and it had central heating and air. I mean, I felt like my mother hit the lotto.
Yeah.
So that was it was a great experience though, man. I enjoyed it. It was different. We had a swimming pool in the neighborhood. I mean, which we had a swimming pool in the projects, but it wasn't the same. You know what I mean?
It was
It
in the
wasn't the same. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, like I said, that was during the time, me and you, came into contact, and
Right. And that's when I met you, right?
yeah, and it was, I mean, I remember like if it was yesterday, we met, we talked, we said, it was a spot over there where we used to all chill and sit around and talk, and to be honest with you, you made me enjoy Atlanta because I wasn't feeling Atlanta when I first came. Matter of fact, I stayed in the house almost the whole summer because for one,
That's
you know,
crazy.
yeah, but you got to think, Daniel. We moved here when it was we had just heard about the Atlanta child murders.
Right.
So I'm like, wow, my sister then moved to the city that's known for killing kids. I'm like, why in all the places she can move?
Right, right. But that was already over with. It
But
was
it was
already
already over. But me and my little brother, we wasn't on that, man. We in there doing push-ups and lifting weight, like let them run up on us. We gonna hurt somebody. They don't get me. But I met you and we hit it off immediately. You started taking me, throughout Atlanta to where, because I wasn't familiar with it, and it just became, we became brothers at that time. So you moved from Prairie Homes, moved to Peppermill.
Mhm.
Um, your first, well, we move forward. Let's say, I guess 17, 18. What was you thinking about, going to school, college? What was your plans after graduating high school? Like what did you plan on doing?
That's another good question. I initially I was like a 50-50 when it came to school. I knew I wanted to play baseball. I love baseball. I was like, man, if I go to school, I kept telling myself, if I go to school, I'm really just going to school just to play sports. I'm really not going because of academics and nothing like that. My oldest brother, he was in college. Not matter of fact, he was already, I think, out of college. So we did have people to go to. He was the first person to go to college. So I didn't go. My second oldest brother didn't go. I didn't go. So that was it. So I knew immediately that once when I got into 12th grade, I realized that I was in a situation, like the typical black black family. When you have this conversation with your mother and you like, okay, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go to the military, or you gonna go to school, or you gonna go to work? Those are only three choices you really have. So I chose to go to work. And I remember me and my friend, we went, got on the bus, we rode down Fulton Industrial, all the warehouses. We filled our application the whole entire day, and we didn't get one call.
So what was your first job?
My first job was I got this job through my second oldest brother. His friend told me about the job that they were hiring. It was a warehouse job called Indepane on Fulton Industrial.
Okay. How long did you work there?
Maybe a year and a half, 2 years, top, something like that. And then I left there, and then I went to Westminster.
You went
to I left there and I went to Westminster.
So let me ask you this: was that before? What was the place that was up the street over there off of Paul Avenue? Was that before or after?
You said Paul Avenue? Oh, yeah. No. Paul Avenue hadn't came in.
Blue Circle.
Paul Avenue haven't. You talking about?
So this was used.
Blue Circle, aka Warner Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah. So what? Your first job? How old was you when your first job?
I mean, I was 17 when I graduated, so I started working when I was 18.
Got you. So that was later. Okay, I thought Blue Circle, whatever the name of the college.
Yeah, Blue Circle. Yeah. Okay. No, so I went to Westminster. I worked at Westminster for 3 years, and then I went to Blue Circle, and then I got fired. I went to
a week.
I fell asleep on the job. Huh?
I said, would you work there a week?
I think I worked for maybe 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. I wasn't that long. All I knew is I learned a valuable lesson though. My lesson was then that because our friend Paul, Jamaican Paul. So what happened was we walked through they was on strike. That's how we got the job. The guys was on strike. There's a whole bunch of white guys. They was on strike. And we walked through the strike. Me, Paul, and his brother, we walked through that. We were like, bump that, we need a job. And so we walked in, and the supervisor was like, man, I can't believe y'all just walked through here and they didn't bother y'all. Y'all wasn't afraid. We're like, no, we're not thinking about them. We want a job. They hired us on the spot. We worked the same day. Now, I had the opportunity. My lesson was work the schedule that works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that I'm an early person. And they were night people. So they was like, okay, we're going to work at night. We're going to work from 7 at night because I had the choice to work at 6 in the morning. I mean, 6 in the morning to 6 at night. And then the night shift come in from 6 at night to 6 in the morning. I should have took the early shift.
What, three days a week?
No. That was because they was on strike. That was 6 days a week. Ooh. You only had 1 day off because they was on strike. So you had to make up for the productivity of the job because because of the lack of manpower.
And I remember because I didn't work that long there, but I remember they was, I think Saturday they was paying double time, Sunday was playing triple time or something like that.
Sunday paying triple time, something crazy. The holidays paying triple time, something crazy. They were tossing that money around like it wasn't nothing.
I remember. So,
and then, that was big money back then, and that was the best job I had, really. But again, only reason why I went along with Paul then because I didn't know anybody, and I didn't want to be, you know what I mean, like in a place. Okay, I don't know.
Be on your ship by yourself.
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, because I'm in foreign territory. I don't know anybody.
Yeah. So what growing up, what did you want to be? Like, it wasn't a specific career, anything that you wanted to do?
I wanted to be a baseball player at one time. I wanted to be a rapper at one time. That was it. That was the only two things in my mind. And then I always was thinking in the back of my head, I want my own business, but never said what it was, what type of business. I always said, I want my own business. That was it.
Okay, so you 17 years old, you want to get your own or you want to get your job, get you a job, and and have a career, or whatever. When did you move out of your mom's house? When did you get out on your own?
Okay, so all of this happened so quickly because I graduated at 17 and then I turned 18. So when I turned 18, I met my son's mother, my ex-wife, and I was 18 years old. So I moved out at 18. So I moved out a year after graduating from high school. Went and got an apartment.
Okay. And what side of town were you living on then?
I was in the same apartment company. No. Yes. We had an apartment in Pepper Mill.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, we lived in the same building as Patrick. Then we were just on the end at the upstairs.
Got you. So 18, moved in with your son's mother.
Son's mother, future wife, ex-wife.
Gotcha. And how long were y'all? So then you ended up getting married, correct?
Yes, I got married.
You got married?
I got married 3 years later. I got married at the age of 21.
Okay, so 21.
Yeah,
you're married.
Growing up fast, growing fast.
Yeah. Doing adult.
Yeah. I was in a grown man shoes. I was a teenage boy walking in some grown man shoes.
So during that time, because from my understanding, your father had passed when you were 6. So
right,
you became a father and a husband. How did that go? How was that working out for you? As far as being that you didn't have your father in your life and everything, how did you know that, okay, I don't have a blueprint of what it looked like? How did you know, being a father? How did you know, go about doing that? How did you know go about being a husband?
Well, let me say this, and that's another good question. What I realized that now that I'm looking back, when you look back at your life, I realized that it was a hunger for the time that I didn't have my father that made me want it to become a father.
Yeah.
It was a hunger to want that family unit that I didn't have that was taken away from me. So it's like I was, trying to replace that subconsciously.
Yeah. And your so because before you got married, your ex-wife, she had 2 girls, correct? 2 daughters.
That is correct. I married into a ready-made family at 18 years old, and got married at 20.
How was that?
It started off good. It started off good, man. It started off good. I tell you, my heart was in the right place. Let me say that. My heart was in the right place. Yeah. My energy was in the right place. You couldn't tell me that at that time you couldn't tell me anything different. I didn't get no resistance from my side of the family. I did get my auntie. She passed away now. My aunt Frances, rest in peace. But she pulled me to the side. She told me, okay, you need to look at this, and I heard it, But again, I was like, I got, people can talk to you till they're blue in the face, but if your mind made up and you strong will, there's nothing nobody could tell you. That's the truth about it.
All right, so now you're married, 3 kids, you're in your 20s. Where were you working at that time?
Okay, so I was at Westminster at that time. So because when I got fired, I had to go back to Westminster. So I had to go back to Westminster with my tail in my behind. After I had done left, and I had a good job, good cement job, working in a cement factory. And then that was it. And then after that, I left there, and then that's when I saw one day me and my ex-wife, we were out shopping, and that's when I saw my old swim coach, and he told me that the city of Atlanta was hiring, and he said, "Hey, do you still got it? Can you still swim?" I was like, "Yeah, I still got it, coach." He's like, "Come on down."
So from at that moment, were you still staying in apartments or?
Yes, I was still staying in the apartments. By that time, I think we moved to Bolton Place. Bolton Place is right up the street from Pepper Mill. Those know what I'm
Okay,
talking
okay.
about. And
So
then that's when everything changed.
moving on, when did you get your first house? How old were you when you bought your first house?
I bought my first house when I was 21.
Wow, 21.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, that's so everything was like
I
boom,
was
boom.
moving fast, man. It was like boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom,
you
boom,
are.
boom.
I see.
Yeah, yeah.
I see. Bought your
I
first
moved to
house.
East Point. I moved to East Point. Bought my first house in East Point. Yeah,
Wow. At the age
yeah.
of 21.
21. And I had coworkers who was telling me, "Don't do it. You know, you too young and all this stuff." Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Was Junior born in?
No, Junior was he was in the belly at the time.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so you had you had your
No, no, no,
son.
no, 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 no. Let me take that. I take that back. I take that back. Yes, he was born at the time because he was born when we was living in Bolton Place.
Gotcha. Okay.
So by the time he arrived and he was a baby, we moved to East Point.
So now you living in East Point. You got three
Yep, with a
kids.
family of three. I got three kids, and I'm the only one.
What was you,
And
if
I'm
you
the
don't
only one
mind me
working.
asking, what was you making at that time supporting a family?
Woo. Oh man. Okay, man. Here we go. So when I was at Westminster, dude, I was making $3 and
Goodness
15
gracious.
$3.15. And I was there for until I got hired on with the city. So I got hired in the city 21. So and then by the time I left East Westminster, and they ought to be ashamed with their fucking selves too. I was making $3.30, something crazy. And we talking about a private school. These are millionaires. And that's when I realized too that you know what, this something ain't right with this shit. Something ain't right with this. You know, this ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Like
So you making $3.30 uh an hour.
that was
Supporting
with minister. This is before
yeah,
I got hired on with the city.
supporting a family of four
Yeah.
living in
Yeah.
a house.
Yeah. So let me say this too. So just to press rewind a little bit, I did have a part-time job. I was working at one of the drugstores too. So I was like stocking the shelves
I
or whatever.
remember that. I remember that. I remember
Yeah.
that.
So I had two jobs. So as soon as when I knew my son was in the belly, um, you know, I picked it up. I picked it up a notch.
And see to me, Daniel, that I took my hat off to you because with with those numbers, of income, and you got mouths to feed,
Yeah.
and you still pushing forward to do it the legal way.
The legal way.
Yes,
Right.
because a lot
Right.
of people would have said, you know what, man, listen. Like how Biggie said, you either got a wicked jump shot or you
Like,
sling it
like
crack.
it crack rock.
Cause man, like that had to be hard.
Yeah, it was challenging because at that time, well, let me say this too, and I'm just being very transparent, which I don't have to be. I just choose to. So before I got with my, you know, even though I was a teenager, you know, that was during the crack era. I did make I made a little money, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I was out there making a little money, out there hustling or whatever, in the apartments of Pepper Mill. So, you
yeah,
know, well, you know that. So,
yeah.
but I'm not glorifying that or anything like that. But
And,
I let
and,
it
and, and
go. I let it go because I once when I got serious in that relationship and I knew she had kids, I knew that wasn't gonna mix. I knew it wasn't a good mix together.
and that's what I'm saying, Daniel. For you to have seen that side and know, how it's done, you could have easily, went back to to that lifestyle. So I take my hats off to you because man, $3.30. Like that's crazy. So you left Westminster, you started the journey of going, and I never forget because we both ran into each other. I mean, we was living, well, we always stayed in contact.
Right.
Um, but we was both talking about, joining, the fire department. But this was later on. So you joined the city aquatic, the aquatic side, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And how long were you on the aquatic side?
I was on the aquatic side for 11 years.
So 11 years. So you aquatic side, where did you work? What area, what places, where did you work during
Okay.
aquatic?
So for those who don't know what aquatics is dealing with water, but it's not like the water department. It's actually consists of lifeguards, um, water aerobics, things of that nature. Teaching kids how to swim, teaching adults how to swim. So that's what I did for 11 years for the Silver Line.
And what areas? Because I know you worked in several different areas.
Okay, so I started off at Roselle Fane. That was the new facility that was well before Roselle Fane was called Southeast, and then now it's called Roselle Fane. So that's off of Cleveland Avenue, right across the street from the golf course.
Okay,
And
I
then
remember that.
the pool went down because they didn't do something right as far as the pool just went down, and so they had to do some work, some major work on it. So from there they split us up, they split us all up because at that time I think we had like 4 or 5 indoor facilities. So this is a year-round job. This is not a seasonal job, but it's like one of the smallest departments. But anyway, so I think I left there, went to Kennedy. I went to Kennedy for a few years there while they were still doing repairing our brand new pool that they spent all these millions of dollars on. Then I left there.
Where
Went
was
back.
Where was Kennedy at? Kennedy,
Kennedy is off of it's off of, is that Simpson? No, that's
Kennedy High School or Kennedy?
Kennedy Middle School. There
Okay.
is no Kennedy High School.
Yeah. That's right. Right. Kennedy was yeah, that was.
Kennedy
That
Middle School.
that's off of is that off MLK? No.
That's not off MLK. That's off of it's Simpson and God dog it. What's that? James. Uh
I know what you're talking about though. I know.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Then from there, then you went to
And from there I went back to my pool. And then our pool went down again. Then they sent me to Martin Luther King. And I was over there for a few years.
okay.
And then I left Martin Luther King. And then I went back to Roselle Fane. Then from Roselle Fane, then I went to the fire department.
So for 11 years you was an aquatic.
Mhm.
What made you go towards the fire side?
Well, I had my invitation. I had my first invitation when I was in high school because you have those counselors. They come around when you're in the 12th grade and ask you what you want to do. They try to point you in a direction that you think you want to go.
Mhm.
And he did present the fire department to me at the time, and I told him no, I wasn't interested because I told him, he asked me why, and I told him I didn't want to see dead bodies burn and stuff like that. But that's kind of answer you may get from a 17-year-old.
Mhm.
So pressing fast forward, I had some cool friends that I worked with in aquatics, and sorry, and one of them left, and he left and went to Clayton County Fire Department. So he came back and telling us, it's cool and everything is, this is where you need to go, blah blah blah. Then the other guy left, another cool guy left. I'm like, oh man. And then he came back with the same story, hey man, we only work 10 days a month, blah blah blah. So I'm like excited, but at the same time, I know in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, I know I work for the government. And one thing I do know is time served is time served. So that's what I did know. So I said, okay. So I as happy as I was for both of them, I still fell back. So a few years later, a couple of more of my coworkers, they left to the fire. This time they went to Atlanta. So now I'm like, okay, it must be something going on.
Mhm.
Other than So I applied for it, and they didn't hire me right away because I was with Atlanta. Let me say that too. It's a very slow, methodical process. I was
And
on
how old was you at this? How old was you then?
the 31.
Okay, 31.
I was 31, and then when I hold on, let me say this right. I was 31 when I put the application in. By the time I got on, I was 32.
Yeah, because I remember we had the conversation on this, but because at that moment we was trying to figure out, you know, what's our next move as far as moving into, being able to provide better for our family, um,
Right,
looking at
right,
something to retire from. So and
right,
and we both was about to join on that journey, but I decided to get my CDL and I went towards trucking. You kept with the fire department. So
right.
you said at the age of 31, you decided to go to the fire department. At this time, this was your second. You were still in your first house, or was you in your second?
No, I bought my second home when I was 31.
Okay.
So yeah. So 10 years later, after my first home, I bought my second home.
And
That was when you was in Cleveland. Cleveland was just coming out of real estate school.
Yeah.
And I was his first client. I put him on.
Yeah.
I gave him his first incentive.
and the crazy thing is we lived.
I fired my agent and hired him.
Yeah. Yeah. And the crazy thing is we lived in the same neighborhood, like probably the same distance from and when we lived in the project, probably the same distance when we moved into our homes. We walking distance. And that's how long we've been,
about 300 yards.
Yeah. So you bought your second home, joined the fire department. And where was the first? Where did you start at? Where was the station that you started at? And
I started off at Station 31. That's over there off of Campbellton and Fairburn.
Okay. And how long were you at that station?
Oh man, I was there for 7 years.
Okay. So let me ask you this. So going from the aquatic to the fire department, which I know is as far as risk, life change. How was it? Was it easy transition? Was it hard?
It was different. Well, let me say this though, because of the training did get you prepared. I was prepared after I was in training. Let me say that. I could give you a crazy example. They tell you to get down when you're in the fire and stuff, and while you in, they do it textbook when you're in the academy. They tell you to get down on your knees, when there's a fire, when you enter the fire on your knees. And this is what you read in the textbook. So I remember we got our first fire, right? So I'm walking on my knees. I'm looking up. Everybody's standing except for me. So I was like, oh, I'll never do this again. But that was textbook. That's what they told me. Everybody, they just walking right past me. They walking right past me.
Yeah, I mean, you want to be safe. It's not like you out here making pizza. It's not like you working for a pizza company. You
man.
Fight fire. Like, come on.
Right. But so when you enter, but when you once when you out there, man, you don't enter on your knees.
It sounds like just like when you in high school and they teach you all this stuff, these things, and then when you get out here in the real world, man, you use probably 5%.
You use nothing. People. That's why and that was another thing. Like I realized when I was in aquatics that a lot of those kids who I was working with, they was around my age and they had all these college backgrounds. It made me feel like I achieve or they fail. Like I didn't know what was. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, wow. I felt good because I was around smart people. Yeah. I was around some really, really smart people in aquatics. Let me say that. And I just remember them talking about school and how they was in debt. And I was always asked questions like, why did you go to school? I mean, what did you go to school for? Because I know they didn't go to school for aquatics, but they were here with me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn, well, if they didn't do what they supposed to do and they wasted time in school, like, I didn't waste any time. That's how I looked at it. I didn't waste any time, you know.
So okay, now you with the fire department. Um, like, because I know for me, one of the things I was scared of, when we was all talking about going, doing the whole fire department, I was scared of just death.
Yeah.
How were you able, like the first time you seen it, how did it make you feel?
Well, let me say this. The death wasn't the death really never wasn't a problem. Um, it was the kids' death that was a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I can recall, we was on a call and this lady, she had a small baby, and so we went on this call, and her baby no longer not is not breathing. So by the time Grady got there first, we got there right behind Grady, and she just holding the baby, you know. But now that I look back, the look in her eyes, she knew that her child was dead.
Mm-hmm.
But so now Grady asked me to, ride with them because that's how they do. So they need a third person because it's normally two on the ambulance. So they would say, okay, we need a rider. So here I am, fresh out of the academy, and I'm riding with them. And they doing this thing called ISO. You drill it in the shin bone, whatever. And so they were. I'm at this time. I'm just a regular EMT. They paramedic, so they doing their paramedic stuff. So I'm just really assisting them, and they did everything they can. I was just doing compressions. I remember doing compressions with the baby and stuff like that. And then we rode all the way down to what is that, Eggleston Child Hospital?
Yeah.
So by the time we get there, the doctor, pronounced the child, deceased. And dude, when I came out of that hospital, I was like, it was raining outside, but I was crying, like just tears just running down my face. And that was one that stuck with me. It always stick with me. You know what I'm saying? So from there, I realized that the death with adults don't bother me. The death with kids, that's what bothers me.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that I thought about, like, will I be able to deal with, with that part of the fire department? So, and I know me and you talk, on several occasions, just, just things that happen, because you see stuff like that in my occupation. I see accidents, all day, every day.
Right.
So I couldn't imagine,
Right.
walking up on that.
Right.
You
So
know,
I was accustomed to the shooting and stuff because I grew up in the hood. So I've seen dead people before. So I wasn't foreign to dead people. But I haven't seen kids and stuff like that. So in the fire department, it's a variety of things that come across your eyes. You're gonna see gunshots, stabbing,
Cause y'all like the first on the scene.
car accidents, all kinds of fatalities, somebody suicide. I mean, you see a whole bunch of stuff. You see stuff that the normal person don't see. And I think a lot of times we don't get, I don't think we get the proper, we're definitely getting the proper pay.
No.
But because they killing two birds, because they're killing two birds with one stone, because you have in Atlanta, you have to be an EMT and a firefighter. So you're getting two birds with one stone. So you kind of getting over. You're getting over. So, but the stuff that we see, I don't think they're really prepared as far as they have these little counseling things in place, but I don't think it's enough.
And it's crazy because I have people that I know that's from up north who, they treat they officers and They treat them with the utmost respect. I mean, they appreciate they service men and women. They service people. They treat them with the utmost respect. And then in the South, it's a little different.
It depends on your now in the South. It depends on your location and your neighborhood. So let's say
true. That is true.
In Atlanta, if you're on the north side of town, you're gonna get treated with royalty.
Yeah.
If you're on the south side of town, you're just gonna get words.
Yeah.
So like, good job, keep it up, good job. When you go to the north side of town, if for example, if it's Thanksgiving season, let's say it's Thanksgiving season, and because again, we don't stop because it's a holiday. So if your day fall to work on a holiday, that's what you got to do. You got to be there. So if you're on the north side of town, they might have the whole, when you come in the station, the whole thing just full of food, from all the fixes from top to bottom. So little stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? But I do understand it too. It's also predicated off economics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, you've been with the fire department, you've been with some years. Did you achieve any awards or anything? Like what was the extra schooling or?
No, well, I went to no, they have little classes, internal classes, but they do have external classes. And I didn't go to any of those. Those are the ones who want to pursue to be an officer and all this old type of stuff. So in the beginning, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, in the beginning, I was just cool with being a firefighter. Okay. And then because when I got there, I was working with a lot of old veterans. So I was glad because they had that experience. And so every time we went into any situation, we would go through it, talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of helped you understand it, And then as time went on, they started leaving. So now I'm like, wow, okay.
So what if a person was a young man come to you right now and say, hey, Mr. Hardy, Daniel, I see that you have, you retired, you did, your years of service with them. Would you recommend me to become a fireman? What would you tell him?
I wouldn't discourage him, and I'm gonna tell you why. Well, it's not. Let me say this: one is not the same because they changed the pension, so the pensions are not the same. So he's not going to get the same pension that I get. Let me say that. But I still would not discourage him. Why? Because as far as the scheduling concern, that is your gain, really.
Oh,
you only work 10 days a month.
Say it again. How many days?
You only work 10 days a month. Now it's not, but it's not an 8-hour shift. It's a 24-hour shift. So when I say 10 days, I mean the entire day. So when you go in from 7 in the morning, you don't get off till 7 the next morning. Yeah. But that's 10 days out of 30 days. So you got 20 days to yourself to do whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. So it's a plus. It's a plus. So I've always had another job. I've always had a second job.
Yeah. So
I don't have a regret. I just only if I can maneuver a little bit different, I think I probably would have got was an airline.
Yeah, to travel.
Yeah. If I would have had that airline up under my belt, yeah, that would have been a plus. I would have been a plus.
And that's the reason why I asked you that, because it's like, to me, I tell, like, just with my job, like trucking, I tell young guys, man, get your CDL. You want to be able to provide for your family and, and get, good pay or whatever, get your CDL. Going into the fight, because you have so much time that you can do other things. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons why I asked you, would you advise a young man to get into it, because it's a great career. And on top of that, what like the misconception of they actually have to fight fires. So that is, from you explaining to me, explain to, to somebody that wants to come on and they scared of that part. What would you say to them?
Well, now you can. Well, you're gonna have to overcome you have to overcome your fears. Let me say that you're gonna have to. It's inevitable because you don't know what that car is gonna bring. True enough, most of your calls in today calls, you're gonna get medical calls faster than you do a fire call. But you cannot predict what that call going to bring, so you can't run from it.
Yeah.
So you do have to bring some bravery to the table. You got to.
But they think that they fight fires the way they did back in the.
No, they don't fight. They do, but you still fight fire is not like they used to.
Yeah.
So, for example, the people that came in, when I came in, those guys who came in 10, 15 years before me, they was fighting fires like every day, almost every single day. But because firefighters have gotten smarter, technology got better. The packs are different. The pack, you can breathe more, longer. That's why we do prevention. That's why we install carbon monoxide into people's homes. That's why we install smoke detectors in people's homes for free. If a person had a problem with their smoke detector, hey, come check it out. Or change, elderly lady might say, I need my battery changed, whatever. So those things help for safety. But again, can't guarantee that though.
Yeah.
You still can't guarantee it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was one of the things. I was talking to some younger guys. Because I know we definitely, have experience in our career, and it, like I said, it's rare that people actually are retiring from their jobs now. So to me, like I said, I tip my hat to you for even sticking, with one career and being able to retire, be able to walk away at a young age, and being able to go to the next chapter in your life. So for you, what's next? What's your plans for now?
Great question. Well, I'm just sitting back on the sideline. I'm reading. I'm observing. I'm looking for opportunity. I'm looking for ownership. And I'm not just gonna just sit here. Let me say that. I will say that I'm not just gonna sit here. I'm not designed to sit down.
Okay.
But I'm cool with sitting down. But I like the luxury is I can move when I want to move now. I can say, okay, I'm gonna be here for this amount of time. Now I'm going home. I'm gonna be here for this amount of time. I'm gonna go home. I can do that. That's not a problem for me. But when you're in the fire department, when they say you got to be somewhere, you got to do this, and that's what you got to do. It's a young man's sport. And then as you get older, you kind of get frustrated and you kind of like, what, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. All right. So hey,
another thing too. It's a challenge if you're a family man and you're doing that. It's a challenge. So it's like your family should be close. I recommend that the family unit should be close and supportive of the person that becoming a firefighter if he already have a family.
Yeah. Because like I said, it's definitely a career that that it has a whole lot of benefits of doing it, man. Well,
let me one more thing since you because you got me thinking. We did lose so when I first came out the fire academy, we had a guy named Sullivan. May he rest in peace. Sullivan he came on when I came on, but he came in from Macon, so he was already a firefighter. So he was in the fast tracking class, but we was at the academy at the same time. And they released them a week before they released us. Sullivan lost his life first week there on Thanksgiving Day, off of Simpson Road, somewhere in that area over there. And that was a big blow for me. That shook me up because I knew that, I knew him. Like we've had words at the academy, he's showing me some stuff, hey, hard to do this, do it like this, helping me get some, giving me some tips to help me get through. And And all of a sudden my phone ring and they telling me he's in the hospital and burnt up. I'm like, what? Just couldn't believe it. Yeah, man. But it can be serious. But let me say this too. If you do what you're supposed to do, you should not get hurt. Let me say that.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, if you just stick with your group, if you follow those training techniques, for the most part, you'd be okay.
Okay. Well, I'm to the point of this interview where I just want to ask you a couple of questions, just some fun, some fun questions, whatever.
Okay. And before I forget, let me say, OG, I ain't forgot about you either. 0602 in the building.
Okay. If you was to hit the lottery, what would be the first thing that you do? What would be the first thing that you do?
If I hit the lottery, the first thing.
Mm-hmm. First thing.
The first thing I would do is take half of the money and put it in the stock market.
Okay. Hey, great answer. If you could meet any celebrity, dead or alive, what and pick his brain, who would it be?
Damn, that's a good one. Dead or alive.
We could come back to it.
Yeah, we'll come back to that one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
What now that you retired, you're 48 years old, what would you tell yourself in your 20s?
I would tell myself to stay on your purpose, stay on your grind, and you let everything don't let everything come to you. In the meantime, you just stand on your grind, on your purpose. Don't even worry about this other stuff. Don't get distracted by this small stuff.
So I take it you would tell your 30s the same thing.
Yeah.
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 All right, so we're gonna come back to that same question.
Okay. Let's see. Somebody who I can go back in time and who I would like to say.
Well, they don't have to be dead or alive. Just I mean, they don't have to be. They could be dead or alive. Just anybody that you would want to sit down and just celebrity or famous person. Just pick their brain. Like, hey, man.
Probably Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali. Why? Why Muhammad Ali?
Well, because as I look back at his story, he went through a lot of adversity, right?
Yeah.
Either him or Bob Marley. It could be either one.
Yeah. Those definitely. If I had 5, they will be in my top 5.
Yeah. Because Muhammad Ali, he made those transitions, right? He was a young guy. He went to the Olympics. I think he was a Golden Glove, if I'm not mistaken. But so he won on every level. That's my point that I'm making. Yeah. Then after he does that, then he's seeking for liberation as a black man in American society that was segregated. And out of that, he joined the Nation of Islam. Out of that, he changed his name. Out of that, the government tried to sign him up to go off to war. Mm-hmm. He turned the war down. He said, no, I'm not going to fight anybody. I'm not fighting no Viet Cong. Why are you asking me to fight when I don't have my rights here? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the way he did it, it was very stand up, man. And sometimes you have to pay a price, which he did. So they stripped him away from his title
and everything. Yeah.
He couldn't make any money. Well, he'd made money by going around doing, speaking engagements, stuff like that. But so he didn't let it rock him. But as far as fighting, he couldn't fight anymore until all that stuff got resolved. So yeah, he would be definitely one of the guys.
Okay. It would be either Malcolm X or Martin Luther King. I would want to ask them, was it worth it? Was it worth it? That would be my question.
Yeah.
Would you do it again?
I could. I know I can't answer that for them, but I can see both of them. Hell to the dog, to the dog, dog, dog. Not looking at what we're going through right
Yeah,
now.
that's what I'm saying. Now 2021,
They
like
gotta be hey, if there's such thing as an afterlife, they got to be looking back, going, "What?
yeah,
What
like
is this?
man, like yeah, like I didn't
This
get a
what
chance to see
I'm
my kids, raise my kids, and
Yeah,
y'all here still
yeah,
y'all even worse, yeah.
yeah,
All
yeah, man.
right, man. Once again, Daniel, I want to say, I appreciate, just you older than me, so I look at you as a big brother,
I appreciate it, brother.
and just you are one of the people that I looked up to. You know, you motivated me to want to to get married.
Mm.
I wasn't trying to get married at no 21, but I mean, I did do it at at 27, but
Yeah,
just seeing how you move and how you took care of your family. You did it the right way, the legal way. It was a motivational piece for me.
mm.
I don't know if I ever told you that, but just watching, like when I remember the first time I went to see you, you had the house with the dog and your damn dog bit me. you
Yeah,
know
yeah. That's right. That's right.
I still admire, just the way, just the way you was doing it, because we didn't have,
Yep.
that blueprint in our life, but you
Yeah.
know, I looked up to you, and I appreciate, you doing it the right way, and allowing me to see that, and being, in your life and everything. And I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you, brother.
Congratulations
Thank you. Thank you.
on
It's
on.
not over with. It ain't over with. This the
Oh yeah,
beginning.
yeah, yeah. This is part two. This is part two.
Right, right. We still got. I still got. We still got things to do.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah. With that, what's your last words as far as retiring and
I just want to tell people out there, it really, really, well, now that when you look at it, man, and even if you don't have a career, you just got to be consistent with making money. And if you're consistent with making money, then okay, now you got to start saying, okay, let me put away something to the side for these rainy days, because those rainy days are coming.
yeah,
Those rainy days are coming, and even though your parents didn't teach you to save and stuff like that, you're gonna have to learn. So you need to. The sooner you learn, the better off you're gonna be. Let me put it that way.
yeah. All right, man. Well, this was fun, and like I said, man, I appreciate you. Um, it's really the beginning of part two of your life.
Hmm.
You damn near half of 100, and and I just say this, man, like knowing how we grew up, knowing where we come from, the things we've been through, man, for us to both be able to sit here and just have this conversation, for you to be able to say I'm retired, I'm moving on,
Yeah.
it's
I left the country and everything.
it's a great thing, man. But yeah,
Yeah. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
no doubt, man. And for anybody watching, you know, hit the like button, share, subscribe, support us, because this is one of the things that we want to do. We want to be able to give people their roses and their flowers,
Why they
while
still
they
alive.
still alive, man, because we don't do that. We celebrate people when they're dead and gone, and they don't even know that they're being celebrated.
Right.
Today is a day where we celebrating this man for that's a big accomplishment, man.
Oh, we celebrate people we don't know.
Yeah, 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 exactly, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
But
appreciate you.
hey, no doubt, no doubt. And this is another one in the books.
All right. On that note, peace.
Peace.